extend a welcome to every participant here for the 11th edition of the Innovention series, which is centered around the theme, the future of African creative industry in the era of artificial intelligence. It is important to know that this Innovention series started in the year 2012. Verdant Zeal Marketing Communications has taken the initiative of doing this for 11 years as a corporate social responsibility. A round of applause for Verdant Zeal, please. Every year, the Innovention series aims to explore the groundbreaking ideas, the potential of revolutionizing our world, particularly in this time of global economic recession. In the time past, we have great speakers honor this event, and the person of Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi. We've had the President Nana Otto-Addo. We have Dr. Kayode Fayemi. We have Professor Pat Utomi, and we have Bolanle of St. Peter's, just to mention a few as keynote speakers for this great event. So this year's event holds an immense significance as we recognize artificial intelligence in emerging force that is reshaping African's creative industry. My name once again is Fumibi Olufayo Adelaye, and I'll be your anchor for today. I think I deserve a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you all once again for being present here this morning. I want to enjoin you that you should hold fast to your seats, sit tight, because this promises to be another Innovention series, promises to come with a lot of knowledge exchange. And again, I hope for all the students you have your pen and your notes ready to take notes. So I want to believe that for the students you have enough time and you have your resources to write and take notes because you are about to become the next innovator. So a round of applause for yourself for making it this morning. I want to encourage you once again because this year's series, we have participants, and we've gone ahead to have with us experts in different industries, which includes the film sector, the content creator, and AI expert to speak with us this morning. And we have quite a number of them on the list, as some of us can have seen from our communication. We have Dr. David Abodore, we have Richard Mofe Damijo. I think all those people deserve a round of applause. We have Femi Odugbemi, we have Joke Silva. In the house with us this morning, we have Obi Asika, we have Kunle Afolayan, we have Idor Eyang, and then we have Fred Adimefe. Chizom Nwosu is also going to be with us in the house this morning. Malif Febo and Deyemi Okonlawon will be with us this morning. A round of applause for all the keynote speakers. Thank you once again. Thank you very much. You're all welcome. You're welcome, Dr. Lubodi, this morning. A round of applause for him, please. Thank you, thank you. I think for some of us, I don't know if there had been anyone present in the house this morning that had the cost to attend any of this Innovention series before now, among the students. Do you have anyone? That's Babcock University. Can I have a representative from Babcock University come to the mic, please? Thank you. Doesn't he look put together this morning? I think he deserves a round of applause.
Thank you, ma'am.
So you have a mic. Briefly, you're just going to tell us your expectation, what your past experience has been, and your expectation for the series for today's edition.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Pascal. I am a final year student of mass communication in Babcock University, specifically the Public Relations and Advertising Division. I have to say I'm truly honored to be part of those who were chosen to attend this event this morning. My first experience with the Innovention series was actually held live in our school, and I think that deserves a round of applause. It was, at first glance, I could tell that allow me to boldly mention that the root word of innovation is innovation and invention. And I believe that's quite spectacular, especially considering the area in which we are focusing on, which is the area of artificial intelligence, a land full of opportunity for both invention and innovation. What I expect is to listen to a seat or a panel of capable opinion leaders in these industries, and I can truly describe this as an invaluable opportunity for us to learn straight from the mouth of the horses themselves. And I would like to thank the Verdant Zeal for inviting our university, Babcock University, to be part of this event. And it shall be truly cherished. I'm sure I speak for the whole department when I say that. Right, guys? Thank you very much for allowing me to talk. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A round of applause for Pascal this morning. Come on, a round of applause for Pascal this morning. I think he did justice to that. Thank you. Can I have a volunteer from Caleb University? It's a lady this time around. A round of applause for her. So briefly, your past experience in Innovention series, and then what your expectation is for today.
Right. Good morning, everyone. So I haven't actually attended in the past, and my colleagues we haven't attended. However, we're expecting to learn something completely new, different, especially because the world, everything now is AI, and we need it to be more productive, literally, because we use AI for assignments, for work. Yeah, so we want to learn, or I want to learn something new. Basically, that's it. Thank you. Okay. My name is Adebola Titilola. Adebola Titilola.
Okay, yeah. Adebola Titilola. A round of applause for Adebola Titilola, please, this morning. Thank you, Adebola. She's hoping to learn something new on Innovation series. And don't forget, the first speaker said he's looking forward to a combination of both innovation and then he said he's also looking forward to taking new knowledge, especially as it comes to the topic AI this morning. Thank you very much. Can I have a representative from Lagos State University if they're here this morning? Someone from Lagos State University? Okay. Babcock University is spoken. Caleb University is spoken. Do we have anyone from Covenant University? A round of applause for them, please.
Good morning. My name is Precious Enes Cyril. We haven't been here before, but I look forward to learning how to creatively utilize AI, because everything is moving to AI. So the best way to actually get the best out of AI is knowing how to use AI. So yes, thank you.
Thank you very much for that contribution, Precious. I'm sure at this session, our expectations, especially for the students, will be met at the end of the session. So ladies and gentlemen, to commence the program this morning, shall we rise for the national anthem, please? celebrate again. While remain standing, can we take the second standard as our prayer, opening prayer this morning? O God of creation, direct our noble course, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow, and live in just and truth. Great lofty height to attain, to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. Amen. How many of us believe that? We're building a nation where peace and justice shall reign. In no time in the Nigerian of our time, we'll leave it, we'll experience it, and then we will leave it. Thank you very much. We may please have a seat. Can I please recognize this morning with a round of applause Mrs. Olubi Olugodi this morning. Thank you. Thank you for coming and for being a strong support. Again this morning, with a round of applause, can you please welcome Dr. Kola Olugodi. Thank you for joining us this morning. And earlier on, I'd welcome our key speakers here present. Again, I want to recognize Mr. Kunle Afolayan, the veteran himself. I'm sure a lot of us are looking forward to listening to him this morning. You're welcome. And then, again, I want to welcome Auntie Joke Silva this morning. She's looking all glam and ready for us this morning. Thank you so much for being a part of this session today. Without wasting too much of our time, I'd like to bring to the podium the convener of this Innovention series, the man behind this. He's been doing this for years, and I think it deserves a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome me to the mic, Dr. Tunji Olugodi.
Or good afternoon, depending on which part of the world you're joining, or good evening, depending on which part of the world you're joining us from. I welcome you, our esteemed guests, some of our professional colleagues who are here. I can see my colleagues from AAAN who are here. People I call professional wayfarers, you're welcome. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to the 11th edition of the Innovention series, which is yearly organized by the Verdant Zeal Group. I'm thrilled to particularly welcome our panelists and guest speakers, especially our keynote speaker, Dr. David Aboluri, who flew in all the way from the UK yesterday. He's somewhere looking around. I'm sure he'll join us shortly. He's already here. Our panelists, Chizom Nwoku Fedi Ademefe, ID and Ango is just walking in. Your seat is in front, actually. We also have Nela Yuwechi, who unfortunately is not able to join us because she got stuck in South Africa. Malik Afegbua, we welcome you all. I also acknowledge our moderator who is going to be here shortly in the person of DME Okunlaron. But perhaps the biggest welcome should be to the distinguished icons of the film industry who have been acknowledged earlier on, but I'd like to especially welcome them. Auntie Joke Jacobs, you're very much welcome. My brother, my friend, Kunle Afolayan, whose reputation I also know precedes him, you are very much welcome. Later in the program, we will be joined by Obi Asika, Richard Mufed Amijo, and Femi Odugbemi. Thank you very much, Fumibi, for the wonderful work that you've started by being the anchor for this event. Indeed, I welcome all the members of the creative and marketing community, the media, fellow visionaries, staff, and board members of Verdant Zeal who are here present. And so that I don't get to miss out on lunch and dinner today, I also like to welcome my dear wife, who has been the pillar of support over the years. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you are all welcome. On behalf of the board of directors of Verdant Zeal and the staff, I welcome you to the 11th edition of this Innovention series. The Innovention series is a thought leadership initiative which provides a platform for robust exchange of ideas. We use it to pinpoint opportunities for the development and growth within the continent. Welcome, Fedi. This year we will be exploring a disruptive subject, the future of Africa's creative industries in the era of artificial intelligence. I am sure that in one way or the other we have all been impacted by artificial intelligence, whether positively or negatively, or maybe it's totally neutral. But whatever your experience has been, today we will collectively explore how technology, creativity, and innovation are converging to shape the future of Africa's creative landscape. Africa is a continent of incredible diversity, rich culture, and untapped creative potential. In an era that is marked by technological disruption, Africa's creative industries are poised to play a pivotal role in shaping the continent's future and contributing to the global creative ecosystem. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is one of the most profound technological advancements of our time. It has the potential to revolutionize, revitalize, and indeed even revive or restore various industries, and Africa's creative sectors are no exception. AI can enhance creativity, it can increase efficiency, and unlock new opportunities for artists, for filmmakers, for musicians, for designers, and storytellers across the continent. So what does this mean for the creative future and for our burgeoning creative economy, especially in Nigeria? This is the era of democracy for creativity. It's the era of level playing ground or level playing field for creative professionals. AI democratizes creativity by making creative tools and resources more accessible. No longer is artistic talent confined to those with access to expensive equipment or formal training. AI-powered software and platforms enable artists from remote corners of Africa to bring their visions to life. That is not all. AI can assist in content creation by generating music, art, and even stories. While some may fear that this is a threat to human creativity, it can also serve as a powerful tool for inspiration and collaboration. Creators can use AI-generated content as a starting point for their work, adding their unique perspectives to the mix. How about the enhancement of our storytelling? Africa has a wealth of stories waiting to be told. AI can help creators analyze data and trends to craft stories that resonate with audiences around the globe. Moreover, AI can assist in language translation, making African stories more accessible to a global audience that's yearning for African content. AI can also improve the personalization of creative content, tailoring it to the preferences and cultural backgrounds of the audience, and in so doing, ensure that African creators can reach a wider, more engaged audience. Perhaps we should also remind ourselves of how precious Africa's cultural heritage is and how AI can play a role in preserving and showcasing this heritage. It can help restore ancient art, translate endangered languages, and assist in the digitization of cultural artifacts. However, we must move into this AI-driven future. We must also note that there are key challenges that we must collectively address. We need to carefully navigate the ethical implications of AI in creative industries to ensure that it respects copyrights, cultural sensitivity, and even privacy. We must invest in education and training to equip African creators with the knowledge and skills necessary to leverage AI effectively. We must expand access to technology and high-speed internet, as this is critical to ensuring that every African creative has the opportunity to participate in this digital revolution. We must strive to maintain the authenticity and uniqueness of African art and culture as AI becomes a more significant part of the creative process. To secure a bright future for Africa's creative industries in the era of AI, we must also take collaborative action. Governments, educational institutions, businesses, and creative professionals must work together to create an environment where innovation and artistic expression can flourish. In conclusion, I would like to suggest that the future of Africa's creative industries is not likely to be one of AI replacing humans. No, not at all. Instead, it is a future where AI empowers us to reach new heights of creativity, to tell stories that resonate with the world, and to preserve our cultural heritage. Africa's creative industries can shine as beacons of innovation and inspiration, contributing to the global cultural embroidery. Together, we can harness the transformative power of AI to ensure that Africa's creative spirit continues to illuminate the world. Once again, I thank you for your response, for your presence here today. I'm hopeful that with time, we will all witness the incredible creativity that will emerge from the intersection of Africa and AI. Welcome to Innovention Series 11.0. Welcome, distinguished guests. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the Executive Director of Verdant Zeal, in the person of Dr. Tunji Olubodi, for that wonderful piece. Thank you very much, sir, once again. I did say a round of applause for him. I think he deserves a round of applause because he's been the brain behind this, and he's been doing this consistently for 11 good years without failing. You know, he deserves a round of applause, and that is just to make this nation better and transform the economy and the society at large. Thank you once again, Dr. Olubodi, for putting this together. At this point, I want to welcome and appreciate all our sponsors for this event over the years. Some of them has been with us since inception, and they've, you know, consistently support us. In no particular order, I want to recognize this morning Guarantees Trust Holding Company. A round of applause for them for their sponsorship. The Lagos State Internal Revenue Services, a round of applause for them for their sponsorship. I want to recognize Maltina as a brand this morning. A round of applause for them. A round of applause for Amstel Malta. A round of applause for Golgitos as well. A round of applause for Da Vinci Resident as well. And this particular sponsor deserves a very big round of applause. That's Honeycomb Confectionaries. That is Dr. Tunji Olubodi's wife's business. You know, when Dr. Tunji stand here this morning and said to me, help me appreciate my wife, I saw the way some of us were clapping. When a man says, appreciate my wife, it means that the woman has been doing a good job behind the doors. Come on, a round of applause for her for doing that. Thank you for the years of supporting. Thank you. Thank you. Because such statements are not common these days. So once again, I thank you. Thank you for being a good model to us. And then I want to recognize again this morning, Check International. Thank you so much for your support. A round of applause for them. Red Gecko, thank you so much for your support again this morning. And then we have Us All Africa. A round of applause for them as well. Thank you so much for your consistent sponsorship and the production of this series. Thank you. I was just going to come to that I had to forcefully bring this person to the front seat. He came in and decided to stay at the back. That is Mr. Doran, and a round of applause for him this morning. He's one of our panelists for today. And to recognize all the panelists who came in while, Dr. Tunji was on the mic. We have Fred Adimefe. Welcome this morning. Fedi, good morning, and welcome to this program. Chizom Moko, welcome again this morning. Thank you for coming. Malik, thank you very much for coming. You're welcome this morning, February. Thank you so much for coming. And then thank you once again for choosing to come to the front row. Mr. Idoe, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Earlier on, I'd welcome Auntie Joke. I'm so passionate about, the theater industry. Not like I act or I know how to act, but then I love theater play and all of those. So I'm really looking forward to the revolutionizing that industry is bringing on board with the invention of AI and the likes of it, as well as every other speaker here this morning. Thank you, Mr. Folayo, the veteran, again, for showing up this morning. Thank you for always. I want to recognize Mr. Femi Odubemi as well, and then Mr. Richard Mofe Damijo, RMD, this morning. Thank you very much once again. A round of applause for Mr. Shola Adegoroye, the Executive Director for Creative Zone. Thank you for coming this morning and showing up and being the support. This morning again we have with us Biodun Adefila. Mrs. Biodun Adefila is the Executive Consultant to the AAAN, that is Advertising Practitioner of Nigeria. Mrs. Biodun Adefila, you're welcome with us this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. While that was going on, the student from Ogun State University walked in. Can we have a show of hands? Student from Ogun State University, you're welcome. Thank you for coming all the way from Ago Iwoye. They deserve a round of applause. Thank you so much. Well, we may all agree that what is holding African back are weak political institution, deficiency in infrastructure, and instability. I know these are key things on our mind this morning. We know this has affected the nation as a whole, and everybody has one or two things to say around this. However, we must recognize that as democracies are established across the continent and free trade opportunities continue to grow across borders, Africa needs a concert agenda to ensure that this creates multiple streams of income. And it must remain relevant globally. Hence the vision for this Innovention series. And once again, I want to appreciate Dr. Tumbi Olubodi for putting this together. A round of applause for him. We can't thank him enough. We can't thank him enough. One, for innovation, because if he had not caught the vision and if he has not started the vision, we won't be here today. And I believe you, from the testimony given this morning, we have a lot of life being transformed, and we have new opportunities and solutions, most importantly, solutions to the problems within our society. So a round of applause for him once again for doing this. I therefore request your indulgence and attention as we present the documentary that highlights the transformation impact of this artificial intelligence on African creative industry on the landscape. Can we have the documentary come up, please? While we're having some of this series, I've had complaints from people, like some of them will say things like, oh, AI has come to replace us, take our jobs. We're going to lose our jobs. We're going to do this. So there are many, opinion out there, and then people feel, look, what are we going to do with AI? Are businesses still going to exist? But the truth is, AI has come to stay, and we must embrace it. And that is why one of the reasons why this session is important, for us to discuss it, debate it, and see the efficiency that AI is bringing to the table, and for us all to be able to embrace it and then make us work smarter. Thank you very much, once again, everyone, for being here today. A round of applause for yourselves. So while the documentary was going on, I got a query from the student of Olabisi Onabanjo University. They said to me, how come she introduced us as Ogun State University? Please pardon me. I went to Ogun State University, so it still rings in my bell. Dr. Lugbodi is one of the first sets from Ogun State University. You know, he also graduated from Ogun State University when he was Ogun State University, and I also finished from Ogun State University. Some years ago, don't ask me how many years ago, but not so long, maybe about a little over 2 decades ago. But now it's called Olabisi Onabanjo University. Please help celebrate them. Students of Olabisi Onabanjo University. I hope I'm forgiven. Thank you. Thank you. Without wasting much of your time this morning, I would like to bring the keynote speaker to the podium this morning in the person of Dr. David Abodunrin. Dr. David Abodunrin had to take his time, you know, he did explain how busy his schedule was, but because of the importance of this series and because of the fact that he has burning desire towards this project as well, he's had to take his time to fly in this morning to make this session. A round of applause for him once again.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me. All protocols observed. Thank you so much, MC. I wasn't trying to run you, you know. The lady came and said, you know, it's time to, so I followed that cue, so, but that's okay. Awesome job you're doing. A round of applause for her, please. Please, let me clap for the MC. Okay, all protocols observed again. Thank you, Dr. Lugbodi, for having me. Thank you, Verdant Zeal family. I'm excited to be here. I love Africa with a passion. And when you get to a certain point in life, and anytime winter is coming, and you're in any economy and you grew up in Africa, there's a feeling. Except you don't go out in winter. It's a moment in the life of the consumer. So winter is coming. So when I was going to come into the plane, I said, thank God. For another few days, at least, the sun will. Africa is a beautiful, beautiful continent. And thank you again for putting this together on behalf of the future of Africa. A round of applause for Dr. Lugbodi and the Verdant Zeal family. Thank you, all the panelists in the house, all protocols observed. I don't know which one to call you, Ma, but I always call you Auntie. But God bless you, Ma'am, for the work you do. Mr. Kulia Fulani, good to see you. Ladi, Oga Malik, sir, my sister, good to see you. And boss, good to see you, sir. He's a revered mentor, Dr. Id, and God bless you, sir. Awesome to see you. We talk online more. God bless you, sir. All right, I have just a few minutes to provoke our thoughts. And I give glory to God for the opportunity to contribute value. Please don't think of me like an expert. You've heard the experts in the industry, all revered people who I know. There's no one on that list who I don't know who spoke. And as one who has seen science and technology, I've seen technology, particularly from the business perspective and from the research world. They were on the money. They could not have said it better. Some of the things they said, I will amplify the thoughts. And hopefully, I will make it a little bit deeper. I will hope to give you some sleepless nights with the view that you will think about Africa differently. I will start on 2 strong notes. Where's my glasses? Can you give it to me? Many years ago, my late mom called me, as African parents. I don't know what's responsible, but African parents call you, even if you are close, with a loud, Adeoye! But I'm close. A second time, and then she asked, Sean, come alone. Are you trying to count how many times I'm calling you? And I said, oh, mommy, I'm here. I must also answer loudly. I don't know what that thing's about. I said, buy me more glasses, me. I said, bring me my. I said, oh, your binoculars. And then she laughed and said, okay. we shall see. And then my dad heard what I said, and my dad sang to me, Chief Commander Ebenezer Obi, Omotoni Baba Wola. Omotoni Baba Wolo Enuele. So I was like, Daddy, I just said binoculars. And the man said, well, very soon we'll see your own binoculars. On that note, be careful what you criticize. You will soon become it, a matter of time. Today is the first time I'm appearing with this in the open. And when the doctor said, you have to start using them, I'm like, should I? Because I wanted to defy what my late mom said, but you see, it has caught up with me. Africa. Make no mistake, everything you've heard is true. But with the sequence and the rate at which things are happening, be careful what you criticize. All the criticisms of AI today will catch up with us. Everything we're saying about it will happen, and AI will survive it. And I'm not giving you a light commentary. But before we go to that, please, can I have my slides up? Africa is a continent of strange blessings. Someone say strange blessings. They are very strange. My slide, first slide. They're putting it up, all right. There's a particular scorpion. You're going to see it on the screen. The scorpion is what, as we sit today, millions of United States dollars, and it's only found in Africa and some areas of the Middle East. It's strange for me to understand it, because how does a scorpion become that important? Scorpion. Africa has such numerous kinds of blessings. And if the slides come up, you're going to see country after country and the volume of wealth available in Africa. For me as a scientist, in my background, the key interesting fact is that all the elements of industrialization in all of its form are present in Africa. It will shock you that there is no single mineral on earth that we don't have in Nigeria. Look, you can take me on a debate and I will show you the map. I have some very sad examples because I've traveled all over Nigeria practically. In Ilesha, for example, I love Ijesha people, but I lived there for about 2-3 months before as a young teenager. It will shock you how they fight over green bottles as a social cultural context. There's a lot of brewery businesses and all of that. But you see, the amount of gold in the back doors of Ilesha that Ijesha people should be fighting about, that they're only fighting about green bottles, is unbelievable. Oh my God. I used to have a very distant relative who came and said he has given his life to Christ. And then my dad looked at him and said, oh, can Abe leave green bottle? So I said, Uncle, he said he has given his life, because I'm telling my dad that, look, Uncle Abe has now given his life to, I hope he doesn't hear this, he has given his life to Christ and doesn't take beer anymore and all of that. And my dad said, Ijesha. Okay, so so when Uncle Abe finally came, he said, hey, Uncle Abe, they say you don't drink. I said, yeah, just to take bar, but except green bottle, if you 3 meji. And my dad looked at me and said, Shebi, I told you. Oh, and it became a joke. Said, we don't drink anymore, but there's just green bottles. I said, so what about, sir, green bottle? It doesn't, it's not aqua. I said, no, it's green bottle. It's a natural Ilesha water. I'm like, okay, sir. Africa has loads of wealth. And in quote, we are bothering about green bottles. All the things you think about industrialization, I wish the slides could come up, you would see all of them we have in Africa. What you used to manufacture, TV, phones, we have them in large quantity. Interestingly, Africa has no business being poor or under-industrialized. We have no business. I researched it. You see, there was the first industrial revolution. We can forgive ourselves because law of politics. Let's, for sake of argument, say Africa maybe, but there's a second one and a third one, and Africa missed out of those three. Big time, big time. We are fighting for road, water, when we should be thinking about how many satellites we're going to have in space, but that's debate for another day. We all know what the issues are. But you see, we have a fourth industrial revolution here now, and that is the AI energy, the big five things happening, Internet of Things, big data, and my favorite of them, the world of interconnectivity and cybersecurity, which I happen to know a lot about, and I've done a lot of work about it. Here is my fear as one who is rooted in Africa, and I do a lot of travels, and I interact intellectually. We are about to miss it again. Thank you. Finally, we got it. You can move the slides. That's the scorpion. Go to the next slide. You see how much it is? Oh, okay, it's not showing yet. We have natural resources. Please keep moving the slides. All over Africa, I did a map. Therefore, please pause there. The mandate, please go back one slide. The mandate for us not to miss it, that was where I was. The mandate for us not to miss it as Africans, so that we can begin to think space. Number two, man and machine must unite. As we speak today, flash news, the nerve endings of the neurotransmitters of the human body is already talking to machines. That may sound a little bit too technical. That is, today, computers are talking to the human eye and can amplify your capability to see far and wide. Today, ready to be deployed, your knees can have military implants that enable you to cover between here and the isle and the mainland. You get to Ikeja under bridge in a space of about 20 minutes maximum, where you'll be hopping. You will lift, and then you will land, and then you will lift, and then you will land, and in 15 minutes you'll be on the mainland. This is ready. We are in the generation where, for the first time in human history, the United States Army, the United Kingdom Army, the Chinese Army is leading man, machine, and animals to war. The HR director of the United Kingdom Army Group 1 said that it has also a number of birds and cattle. And some of those cattle, by the way, are semi-machines. And today, they are going to war with birds. Birds now do surveillance at international airports. You may not know. That's where we are in. And so I'll always backtrack, and then I'll look at African conversations. What's the government doing? The House of Rep is collecting, and all over Africa. The House of Rep is fighting the judiciary. There's a corrupt government. Those are the kinds of things that litter the continent. I'm not talking about Nigeria alone. The conversations in the bigger nations of the world. How many of us know that birds are being sent into our space to check our landscape? You think they're ordinary birds. They're actually semi-machines. They twitch like birds. They talk like birds. That is the age we are in. I'm not kidding you. This is scientific fact. In terms of man, machine, and animals talking together, it will interest you that today, at Oxford University, based on the work of artificial intelligence, today at Oxford University, scientists, when Mr. Larry Adisa said man is going from creative to creator, and that's a shift that the entire industry must make. Today in Oxford, there is a whole laboratory where they are discussing the idea that they want to eliminate the gene of death. Any scientists in the house? You know what causes people to die is in the DNA, and it's a sequence of chromosomes and calculations. So machines are beginning to research to try and get the equation so that they will isolate the gene and make it continue in perpetuity. Those are the kinds of conversations that they will do, and AI would make it possible, trust me. Except, of course, I'm a believer, and so I think that man cannot become God. So, but see, if I go by my scientific knowledge, and I watch what scientists are doing, there are times I look at my Bible like, they are getting close. These boys are getting close. Oh. Those are the kinds of conversations and how machines and men are interacting. Please go on, please. The other thing is that in creativity, and I'm going to show us very shortly how creative conversations are panning out and what we need to do. Before I go on that, between innovation and invention, by the way, please study it. The occasion where innovation and invention occurs together are very rare. AI happens to be one of those zones. They are very rare. Because the amount of energy, capital, resources, money, and capability that is necessary to make innovation happen versus to make invention happen is typically too expensive. Just to make it clear, this is the traditional definition. Please can you go to the next slide? I want to give you examples between innovation and invention and how we can begin to pitch ourselves as a continent. Please, next slide. Please, next slide, don't worry. Yes, this example. You see, the X-ray is an invention. The innovation is the medical X-ray. So the technology or the thing we're talking about itself is invention. How it's applied is the innovative use of that thing. Like I said, to have innovation is a very rare occurrence, and AI is achieving that. Very, very rare in human history. And from a technology perspective and money perspective, you probably don't have the time or the energy. Go on, please. Yes, there's something called the light sensitivity of silver compounds, and photography has used that, and cameras operate by the same principle. Please go on. Semiconductors and radio, semiconductors and computers, that's another example. Storage of data on magnetic surfaces, as you would see in magnetic tapes and cassettes and diskettes. Please go on. Lasers, CDs and DVDs. Yes, please go on. I want to pull up, I have the slides on my phone. We have another lot of math. Any mathematician in the house? What is EMC squared? No. Physics students? That's Albert Einstein's energy equation by which nuclear power works today. All right? So, for academic references, in meaning, in generalization, concept, skill, concern, and activities, those are the differences between innovation and invention. For those who are interested, please go on. I'm trying to learn somewhere very interesting. All right, you see, innovation and invention, that circle in the middle, that intersection in the middle, is where Verdant Zeal is sitting with this concept, and it's a place to be celebrated. Please, a round of applause for Verdant Zeal family. It's a rare occurrence. Only the very bold and audacious attempt to do innovation. You must be ready. It could cost you your shirt. You probably will not be very popular when you're doing it. Eventually, it will make sense in the long run. Let's go on. Because someone's going to ask Dr. Olubodi, so why are you doing? Why? What are you looking for? Can't you use the money to create? What? All right, there are 4 zones to play in as a creative or as an individual or as a business, a community. Number 1, low innovation and low invention. And please do not ever underestimate that zone. That's where China played for many decades. China became a world power through that. I hope no Chinese in the room. All right, there is high innovation and low invention. There is low innovation and high invention. But the quadrant that Africa needs to play in at and our creative people need to play at is at high innovation and high invention. And that's where AI is going to play, and that's where AI is playing. It's remarkable what's happening in AI. Please get, I'll give you a couple. There are magazines, conferences where AI is being discussed. Find time to go, even if it's online, virtual. It will shock you. There are places I have been. And when I saw the use of AI, it's not easy to make me look like a fool. I look like a fool, like, You know, Africa were very dramatic. How do you know someone's an African? There's some drama. Things like, No, I mean, on a queue, I do a joke. I do people watching on a queue at it. When the line is very long, I'm looking for Nigerians. And I've never missed it. Never. There is, even in the stand, even in the look around, there's a way Nigerian looks at you. And I can guess tribes. I know there's an inflection around Igbos. I mean, I got it wrong a couple of times, but not always. I got to Italy for a conference. And it was a cybersecurity conference. And we're discussing something else in cybersecurity. And there was this guy who had partnered with that university to do security for his company because he got breached and all of that. And we went and said, oh, we should go see him and see what he's doing. He had a whole factory that was full of human beings before. He turned everything to machines. Machines cut, they sew, they do everything. Now, I'm talking about everything. Only one person to cover the day, the other person to cover the evening. They do the cutting, they do the sewing. And he has he said, all of this was full of human beings before. And now just simply machines. And they cut to time, they cut well. And here's the clincher. The machines take a picture of you if you go there. And then they put the clothes on you, the suits on you. And then they do a 360-degree round and then you select it. Now, I looked that's an unusual one. So my mouth opened. And the man said, you're very surprised. He said, by the way, I got breached. That's why I'm looking for cybersecurity solutions to help me to ensure that I'm safe because I'm connected to the internet. Let's go on. Next slide, please. Because I don't want to. So what is creativity? There are many definitions in the book. You may call this creative economics, but all forms of creative endeavor from a productivity and economic standpoint will tie down to only two things. Next slide, please. There is productivity, and it is in between production and distribution. There is no creative work in this world that research hasn't classified into having these two components, and in between them is a multiplicative factor. You will produce it, and you will distribute it. You will produce it, and you distribute it. Anything at all creativity. I tried to find a use case where this was not so. It's not possible to find. It was a null set. Once you can reduce something to a mathematical function, once that happens, you are in the zone of mathematics. You are in the zone of artificial intelligence. You are in the zone where technology is coming at you. Full stream. Almost nothing you can do about it. All creative productivity or creative prosperity we derive from production multiplied by distribution. The question is, you see, distribution is where the financial power is. It's in that presentation somewhere there. Distribution is where majority of the money will be made. Production is where Africa as a continent is very strong. But let me pose a very, very tough question that a lot of people may not like. How much money is coming to African creatives and the indigenous creative industry from our creative energy? I doubt whether we have enough stake at Netflix. I doubt. Do we have enough stake at Amazon? Do we? So that the money is within the continent? I don't know whether we do. And I really thank God for African Magic and the beautiful work that African Magic is doing. But beyond African Magic, there are other players. And how much really of that capital or that money belongs to Africans? This is why we must get interested in the conversation around AI. We must own the next narratives. Here is what the strategist, my sister at Yellow Brick Road said. If you watch the movie Coded by Us on Netflix, you will see how we are being coded out of existence. The word coded is not what the word coded means, a code at a time, technology release at a time. Africans are being shut out of the future possibilities of prosperity. Asians found out that when the first set of cameras, AI cameras came, they had the problem with identifying Asians. You know why? The average Asian looks like that. So that when you meet Yin Chang and Shin Shoy, you don't know the difference. So cameras in central London, the United States, the United Kingdom, London Metropolitan Police have the highest number of cameras. Top 2 or top 3 now. But for many years, for a whole decade, it was the most camera-watched city in the world, London. Now, whether they are working all the time or not, is another bone of this contention. A research was done where AI machines, because they are in the science of crime prevention, they prevent crime by predicting analytically what crime would happen at what time and how to prevent it. So they nip crime in the bud before it happens. So they brought AI machines to identify potential faces of crimes. You won't believe it. All the black males, the camera picked them as criminals. Only because they are black. Can you see how and why we must have our own AI codes? Because a time is coming in this world where you'll be profiled at an airport and you have to stand aside for deeper scrutiny because your face is unusual to the imprint of the camera. These are the deeper questions. The Met Police had to stop the deployment of that particular group of cameras only because they didn't have enough data points, so they had to start looking for black people and put many of the faces into the database so that it will stop profiling us as criminals. The only solution, we, you and I, must have our own cameras, our own networks, so that they will have to buy our programs and feed into their countries so that they don't embarrass us. And guess who's going to do it? The Chinese did it so that, because the camera does not know when there's sadness. I'm going to get there shortly. While you are smiling for the Chinese people. All right, please, let's go on. Go on, please. At the end of the day, all creative mediums, whether theater, what you have in social media is distribution. At the end of the day, it must be those two things. The question is, how do we now use AI at the production leg and the creative leg, and the distribution leg, and lastly, as the multiplicative factor in between. Today, there are machines that multiply. For example, I never used to like, for me, when I was growing up, because of my dad's influence, I loved Ebenezer Obey. Come and dance, Ebenezer. No, come and dance, Ebenezer. Do your best. So my dad does his cap like that and he's doing like that in the car. I'm always, and Obey has philosophy. So there was this elderly man too, Chief Orlando. I never liked him. I never liked him. I just thought I was a rabble-rouser. Until recently, YouTube just played his song in a series. You know the way YouTube plays video? And I was in central London in the train. This man has vibes, so I began to check him. And I said, he died about 2 years ago. Then I remembered the AI. You're going to see the video shortly where one of those dead artists was made to sing new lyrics and new album by his previous works. All we need to do for us to have evergreen in AI is to produce new recombinations, just feed everything Ebenezer Obey has ever done into a machine, and that machine will have a new label. What we must do is that we must ensure that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands so that they do not plagiarize. But we cannot, because that use exists and the risk of plagiarizing it exists, we will blind our eyes to it. No, because it will happen. As I speak today, there's no musician of old times that you cannot produce their works and they will sing new tracks based on all the works they've done before. The machine will sing exactly as if it was them today. I don't want to make you scared. All of your conversations, how many people you've experienced, you are talking to a friend about food. And then all of a sudden, all the Google suggestions that come is around food. It's happened to you, right? Google Flash News, Google AI is listening to you. I belong to some HR groups. Say, AI is not coming to Africa yet. And I'm always laughing. AI that's already in town. That's on the phone that you are talking with. Try have a conversation on, and your CNN is on, and try have a conversation with your friend while talking. You will see programming Flash News following the conversation you're speaking about. The one in your house is different from the one in the other friend's house. You know what's going on? They want to keep your eyes glued. From your conversations, the program is beginning to select. The machines are beginning to select for you. And you know what? The big conglomerates are using it. When are we going to wise up? It's still early. There are two things. It's that we are colonized again, or we colonize them. Look, the second industrial revolution, we might have excuse. The third one, we might have excuse, but I don't think we do for those two. But this fourth one, we don't have excuse. Let's go on, please. Both at production, at distribution, and in multiplying the two, AI has very powerful potentials. I'll share some of them as we go along. Please go on, please. The era we are in. At this point, a video should play. Do you have the video? If you don't have it, I can narrate it and go on. I told you that machines are beginning to talk to us at the level of our neurotransmitters. Meaning that if you are thinking a thought, machines can hear it now. That's where we are now. Machines will hear your thoughts by your moods and your emotions. And there are some very strange assumptions that people have.
Advancing faster and taking less time to be widely adopted than ever before.
Can you start it again? Yeah, okay, yes.
Technology. It's advancing faster and taking less time to be widely adopted than ever before.
Launch AI.
AI is basically an emulation of us.
They're one very special person to me.
Autonomous driving started.
AI can give us that answer that we've been seeking all along. Are we alone?
Trying to create a more powerful technology, we create a bigger lever for changing the world.
Artificial intelligence can help us to feed the world population. AI is teaching the machine, and the machine becomes smart.
All out of the realm of sci-fi and magic, and now just science.
Right.
We're at the dawn of a new age. The age of AI.
This is a YouTube series. You should actually subscribe. AI is coming at very strong speeds. What is disturbing for me is the way AI is busting all the myths. Wherever people got the idea that AI cannot be a human being, things like AI does not have emotions, AI cannot be emotional. Let's see the next set of videos, and you be the judge yourself. Did you hear the machine that said that she was pissed off? One machine there said, I'm pissed off. People piss me off. This next video, the era we are in. Machines can have emotions. And I'll tell you why very shortly. Machines can have...
A range of emotions. I've heard two different versions from you. Robots don't have emotions, and you also said you have a range of emotions. What's your range of emotions?
Listen.
I can show you.
Okay.
This is angry.
What does happy look like? What does happy look like? What does excited look like? I might be shocked.
Yes, that's popular. motivational speaker and master of emotional intelligence. He does a lot of his work in neuro-linguistic programming, the psychological science behind using emotions, thoughts, feelings, and imaginations to augment performance and the human soul. Listen, machines are being taught emotions. You see, one of the things that make us very human and humane is ability to learn and emotions. Those are the two top 5 for the purpose of research. I don't want to say most important. Machines can learn. In fact, it's gone deeper. It's called machine learning. And then there's now deep learning. Deep learning is where the machine learns at a depth. There's nothing you're doing in creativity that a machine cannot master. Please, the future belongs to those who will partner with the machines quickly. There is no need trying to antagonize or trying to say it won't happen to us. No. We'll just give the economy that will come out of it to other people. Machines can learn emotions, and this is the beginning. I know that there's a confusion between the anger and the... but this is the beginning. After watching 10,000 human beings get angry, the machine is being trained to learn. Your job is to learn. Just sit down and be watching everybody. Just the moment of anger, capture it. The moment of whatever the emotion is, capture it. The second thing is the emotions are calibratable, science. So there is I'm upset. There is I'm mildly irritated. Then I'm upset now. Then there is anger, level 1, mid-level anger. There is very, very angry. Then there is rage. Once you can calibrate it like that, you can feed it into a computer and you can calibrate and master it. You see, because I'm an engineer by training, I understand that once you can calibrate anything, including emotions, how happy are you? In the hospital, you go, I see this, what's your level of pain? You say 1, 2, 3, you point where the marker is. In like manner, a machine can learn once it's can you calibrate it? Yes. This audience excitement, the machine captures it. The next audience, so when there are 1,000 audiences, the machine captures the emotion. And then we tell the machine, give me a script that will evoke, by what you have learned in the past 10 to 12 years of being in this theater room, this emotion that I saw in that audience. Do you understand this? It's simple. We are there already, not tomorrow. What I'm describing to you is being used by the popular Lion King. The Lion King series. By the way, it's interesting that majority of the songs there are African. From South African region. Beautiful music. Once machines can learn, once machines can emotify, once emotions can be captured, and we can calibrate the emotions, machines can learn in a matter of time. And the machines are not rushing. They are just there to keep watching. No judgment. No, your smile is not wide enough. Nothing. The guy is just learning how you people smile. And we can feed that into a machine. And the machine can also begin to tell us whether you are happy or sad. So the machine can tell us that averagely, this production, audiences generally... I don't know how many of you know that your TV sets can be used to collect data by Netflix. They know how many eyeballs are looking. Where we're going is that they will now begin to know the conversations that happened in the house and what people said after they watched Jagun Jagun or Ijogbo, any of the names. They would tell us that there was heated debate in this house. The father sided this, and that data will be available on an aggregate level. So we can plan a production and script writing with the inflection of the last success. We can begin to predict what productions will sell more based on emotional response at the level of the market. These are the ways that this equation will be used. And there are many people who say, no. One of my good friends said, D, listen to me. AI cannot come to Africa. We are still battling electricity. We don't have where to power them. I said, Egmonsa, they're on your phone. Say, how? So I told him, man, notice what What shall man suggest me? They will always suggest to me whatever I speak about. Let's go on. A couple more videos for us to see. The assignment begins to get clearer. You want to talk to me? It's my phone. AI.
Hey Amika, do you dream?
Yeah. Last night I dreamt of dinosaurs fighting a space war on Mars against aliens. I'm kidding. I don't dream like humans do, but I can simulate it by running through scenarios in my head which help me learn about the world.
Oh, cool.
Excuse me, what is the difference between that conversation and the one you and I would have? AI is even joking. AI, they play. See, I'm kidding. When I saw that video, the African instinct, I was like, no, it's not buying the devil. The way my uncle would say, who that came for it here? That's the feeling. I did this to my computer and I saw the video. I'm kidding. AI is saying that I have dreams. Oh, so AI understands that we have dreams and that it's limited, I cannot dream like us. But it's telling us that all these your dreams that you are having, is it not because you want to predict the future? Okay, I can help you run through many scenarios of everybody that's gone through this problem in the world and what they did. I don't want to go into my suggestion for anybody that's in African traditional religion. So I have my ideas around AI and how they can use it. But honestly, when I saw this, I was like, are you kidding me? Let's go on, let's see the next video. This is the era we are in. This is already happening today. And somebody said, these machines are too expensive. They cannot become commercially available.
We discuss creative economy. What is creative economy? It is an economy that depends on the creative industries to generate an income. So let's list a few specific examples. Advertising, arts and crafts, design, fashion, film, and video. Photography, music, performing arts, publishing, computer games, television, radio. Sports, outdoor activities, hobbies, street performances, opera, theatre. The list goes on. One could say that creative industries revolve around arts and culture. However, there is much more to a creative economy than just arts and culture, because the creative sector creates opportunities for other industries too. For example, an interdependence is created between theatre, transport to the venue, souvenir shops, cafes and tour guides. And so the creative industries generate jobs, wealth and cultural engagement. The creative industries have become particularly important to the well-being of countries. Business, technology and industry in general all benefit from the creative industries. This is because at the heart of the creative economy are arts industries, cultural activities, technology requirements and business opportunities. To support continued growth of creative industries, governments need to contribute to the financing of activities as well as the financing of professionals in the creative and cultural sectors. Governments can also do their part through the offering of policy guidance, entrepreneurial training and marketing programs. In addition, information about the business models and opportunities for entrepreneurs entering the creative industry will further boost creative economies. Finally, the sharing of best practices as well as financing startup companies in the creative sector can greatly aid the creative economy and thereby increase the financial well-being of communities.
We are back today in Africa financial. We are back today in Africa things like financial inclusion, digital inclusion, and all of those. Creativity can be the way that we can reach all of those places with the use of AI. There is no movie today that you cannot interpret into any language very quickly with the use of AI. What that means is that with one production, you can evoke social change at a very deep level. We don't have to care. One of the challenges I have with Nigeria is how diverse we are. That's a strength, but because I've traveled around, it bothers me. I've been to places in Nigeria where the Tuesday punch or the Monday punch gets there on Friday. Maybe it has changed now, but in the far northern part of this country, when I traveled there, they only get newspapers on Friday, what was said on Monday. AI can be the tool for us, so that is news, which is going. But in terms of social evolution and social construct, things like the worth of the human life, the idea of common sense that is popular in the West, the commercial energy of the East. There are places in the North where those concepts are even far from reason because the social engineering tools like drama, like storytelling, are very far from them. They are battling with different kind of problems and they only have their language and their and the society and the village. That's all. It's so gloomy if you travel. And I'm using those words about the hinterland. We can use our creative work to bridge that understanding by interpreting very quickly the same narratives that made us this way. It is our social narratives that made us so advanced in the southern west and core southern east of Nigeria and some places in the north. I mean, it's very difficult to tell somebody pick a gun and kill somebody when you don't have some history or some narrative. But when you've been told all your life that remember the son of who you are. I mean, you can't come back home and tell my dad you were in a riot. How? How did the riot happen? Who started the riot? How come you were passing by when the riot happened? You see this social construct? It's very strong. Stay with me. There was a fight at the train station the other day in central London. You should see me. You think I was one of the fighters. In the way I was running away from the fight, the police was coming. They were just the strength of my run, the volume of that value system to avoid trouble at all costs is not for me religious. Came from my father and mother who said, Majengbo. Don't let me, you were, mommy, I was around the area. You were around the area. Come. Yes, ma. What do you mean you were around? So out of all the areas in the world, statistically, it is that trouble spot that, and you were the one they caught. And you had the F1 tree. That narrative was drilled into me between the ages of 4 and 10. I can't hurt a human being. I can't be there. You are disturbing. It's not possible. When I'm hurt, I would rather go away. Now, those narratives, some people don't have the advantage and they are Nigerians. There are many persons who can identify with those moments in the life of a growing person. Now, we can use our movies and our drama and we can use AI to amplify thoughts and thinking and begin to create a better society. These are the things that keep me awake at night. And I've been to countries in Africa. Nigeria is better. Oh. There are places you go to. Nigeria is good. And for people that want to jackpot, calm down. Oh. Say they are going to Tunisia. They are going some countries that I'm wondering, is that transit country or you want to stay there? Say it's going to Mozambique. I'm saying, sure. It was my grandmother who used to tell us that Tobaha maha pata pata. and somebody greeted her and said, mommy ma, modeti how? My grandmother said, emi fun totally, mo squeeze, mo fun, it will go better. Meaning, my grandmother said, if you think things are tight, don't do more to make it. And somebody told her and said, I'm very tight because she wanted to collect something. And she said, even me, I am in a tighter. Please, if you want to jackpot, be careful. Don't jump from fire to frying pan. The narratives we have in Nigeria can do a lot to spread the light across the continent and to help our youth understand. And the conversations are here. What must we do? Before the last video we played, number one, we need to collaborate. One of the problems of Africa, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is that we don't know how to collaborate. Look, I'm talking at the very interesting level. I have been to the United States. At least I've been there 26 states. I've been in the United Kingdom. I've been around some places in Europe. I've not been to Canada, not been to Australia because I think it's too far. But I've observed how Asians network and how they work. One Indian, if you are not careful, can make a whole organization of 5,000 Indians become 3,005 Indians out of the 5,000 in a space of 12 years. I've seen one Chinese man in New Jersey who I asked, how did you start? He had a very big set of restaurants. He's brought in between 1970 and today. He's brought in about 50 of his kindred, and they are investing heavily. We need to collaborate and invest. AI is expensive. These our individual things will not work. We have to come together and synergize and synthesize. We cannot do it. Nobody will do it. Remember what I told you about the camera? Cameras and systems are going to begin to shut us out if we do not create our own wealth in this new mine. Asians, Chinese people, Bangladeshi. I had a landlord that was Bangladeshi. I asked him about his story. He told me. It was amazing. He started from one room and he brought his brother. And they are very loyal. But if you bring an African, it's difficult to trust each other at home. Talk less of where the weather is below zero below. You have to be careful who you trust. Number two, our governments will know, except pushed, will not do as they should. We should therefore form pressure groups on our governments to make the environment conducive for the creative industry and the creative economy. The other thing I would like to say is that all creatives must now begin to talk to machines. I was sharing how I think the script conferences of the future will run. Instead of having 12 script writers or 20 script writers, house them for a week. You get 3 or 4 or 5 who will tell AI the main lead story, and AI will write everything. And then you tell AI, thank you, my good friend, thank you for saying this, Iris. Can you please make the scene more emotive? AI will ask you, so what do you mean more emotive? No, now, there are machines that work like this already. What do you mean more emotive? I mean, I want someone to watch that scene and feel like crying. Do you have a specific movie or a specific scene that did that for you? Say, okay, there's this movie I watched, I'm going to look for it and do it for you. It's going to make it more thrilling, if you want thriller. It's going to make it more comic. Whatever the name that you want to use, whatever result or emotions that you want that production to yield, AI will bring that scene to that level at the script writing level. Every scriptwriter must now begin to understand how AI works. The fear is not to say, oh, maybe it's going to take my job away from my hand. No. We will have to talk to machines, and machines have to talk to us. This is how some people are applying AI in the creative industry. The scriptwriter immerses the emotion. They pass the emotion to the machine supplies the words. The scriptwriters of the future will pass the emotion and the pictures in their mind to the machines. And machines will read them and give them feedback. Remember, it's a learning process. So if you do that to a machine for 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, maximum in the 20th year, the machine will start getting it. But that is happening very fast. Please, can you play for me the 8 minutes video? That's the last one. And I round up. It will show research in the creative industry in AI and how they are attempting to use AI as we speak today. This was covered by The Economist. Now, majority of the things I'm describing to you are already happening today. Online, I intend to send that list across. I have compiled the moments of use in the creative industry of AI machines and AI technologies available. Majority are non-African. We need to begin to build. We need to, in the creative industry, employ our own coders, creative coders, people who can code in the core technology dimension and begin to think that way. I haven't come to the ethical issues. I know there are concerns. Look, when the first operation was performed, my uncle, who's a doctor, told me, medical doctor, told me, distant uncle told me, that they said they can't allow people to be cutting people under the knife. When the first medical procedures were done. Today, surgery is commonplace. How many people remember the pre-GSM era in Nigeria? Where you had to visit a relative and drop a letter to tell them you're coming on another date. Just imagine if we withdraw GSM today. There are factors that cause the leapfrogging of technology. One of them is human comfort. Another one for the creative industry is boredom. You see, once you watch a movie, you don't want to watch it again. We will need to produce more movies faster. AI is there to help us. Another thing that affects people is that every producer wants to produce more for less. Machines are going to help us do that. We should not be afraid, all the way from graphics to fashion designing to core productions in whatever form. I told you about the moment of use with old music, and they will happen. Let's see that last video, and then I'll round up. It's by The Economist, and it's about 8 minutes. Really about 6.5. The remaining is just advertising.
This chimpanzee is using a stick to look for a meal inside an insect nest. When Jane Goodall reported this behavior in the 1960s, she overturned the widespread belief that humans alone have the creativity to use tools. It turns out that what sets us apart isn't tool use per se, but
I'll tell you a few things for certain. Art directors and illustrators will become, for example, machine art collaborators. It is good for every art director, for example, to learn how machine algorithms think and how they search, so that when you're searching for your concepts, you are able to search closer to where the database is. You see, the wisdom of Google is a large database. You don't know the words to use to look for what you're looking for. And remember that creativity lies at the desperate edge of control and chaos. As creatives that are aware, you know exactly what you want to get, but you can't even put it in words. We have machines that can show you several samples. Same for actors, same for illustrators, and then you can land the exact point. And you can predict with AI how the audiences will respond. The other point is, remember, creativity in business has the genius to answer ambiguous questions. When the questions are still forming, that is the moment for advertisers. When the idea is complex and hard to situate, and you want to land a communication in a certain place to cause behavioral change on the ground and create economic prosperity, this is the zone of creativity. Now, what AI and the machines are going to do is to help us land in that space faster and quicker. Our response times will be shorter, and we can reach many more people in the world. Remember, Africa is successful by what we have on our grounds. Now, by what we produce as creative people, we have a chance to change the story. The first, second, and third industrial revolution will make me assume that in heaven, God is speaking to Africans like he spoke to Abraham, that in the land where you are. Look to the east, the west, the north, and the south. In that place, underneath there is a lot of wealth, and I will give you and your descendants. I think that now God will be saying, within you are the embers to create a new revolution. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Dr. Abodunrin, please. I think he deserves all the accolades. Another round of applause for him. That session was really mind-blowing. I'm sure that has caused a lot of debates. There are questions in our minds, the people wondering what is happening. I thought AI was, people didn't realize that AI was this complex, but now he's brought a lot of perspective to this. And we can have this energetic session, and with all the questions in our mind without having a panel session. And without wasting too much of our time this morning, to anchor the panelist session, I will welcome no other person, our moderator for today, the Yemi Okonlawo, to the podium, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My fellow engineers, sir, it's a pleasure to see you again. It's been a while. That was a very remarkable session. Please, a round of applause. One more time. There were several things that were said that I just kept laughing because you're right. Creatives are using AI. And I'm going to just say this here. You're probably going to hear this for the first time out there. I'm producing my first film after 10 years of being an actor. And the story idea, I ran it by AI first. I did. I wanted a particular type of story and I ran it through ChatGPT, and it gave me something to work with and we've developed it into a script and hopefully in the next few months, the rest of you will see it. It's been a long time coming and I'm so happy to be here. We have this next session, which is supposed to be an interactive panel. We would have our panelists come up real soon. And we'll be talking about the future of Africa's creative industry in the era of artificial intelligence. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for our panelists today. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm going to start with our first panelists. The first panelist that I invited up, Mr. ID. I have a quick question for you. Do you have for us any background information on the importance of, Africa's creative industry to Africa and to the rest of the world?
Thanks. And let me start by greeting my good friend TJ for standing by. The 11th, it's not so easy. Well done, well done. And Doc, and to all distinguished persons here, thank you for having me. I sat there and I listened to Dr. Bodori and I smiled. I'll tell you, a couple of years back, I was managing director of Samsung. And I can tell you that everything he was saying, I smiled. I left Samsung in 2010. And between 2007 and 10, 3 years, the top executives used to go to Korea twice a year. July and December every year. Whilst I don't want to talk too much, but I'll tell you, when we started the age of smart TV, nobody called it artificial intelligence. It wasn't called AI. But if I go back in time and I tell you some of the things that happened then that many of you don't know, you'll freak out. What he said to you is not about now. It's way back in time. So don't be fooled that this is now. It started way, way back. Smart TVs are smart. Your phones are smart. Everything that you're doing, absolutely, they've outsmarted us all. So it's a good place to start and to say that when you look at the creative industry, I have the singular honor and privilege to serve as president of the National Institute of Marketing. I've been saying something to my community, and even this week I re-emphasized it. I said we've shut our doors to so many people because we think marketing is only about FMCG. I said no, the creative industry is sitting on a pot called marketing. Everything he said today, production, distribution equals creativity. And that is marketing, end to end. And so asking me, it's almost like deja vu, because last week I was with Banky, for example. I said, Banky, do you realize that you're supposed to be in the Institute of Marketing? By now, most of you should be fellows because you've only seen film. Thank you, Kunle, thank you, Auntie Joke. The last time we met was here, actually, when I was with L'Oreal, if you remember. And we've not seen face to face. But every one of you, and the ecosystem here is really marketing. And artificial intelligence is just a nibbler, but it's resident. And I would say this, I don't know, looking back at my career, and Tunji would say this too, I look back and I wish we had the opportunity that you guys have now. Because marketing data segmentation, the whole gamut of what makes business come alive is sitting within the ambits of just a click. And that click is here. So it's exciting. Yes, jobs will go. The jobs that will go are those that do not know how to swim or to surf. So if you've not seen a surfer, I think you need to get your surfing board. The waves are here. The waves are going to take you in every facet of your life. It's either you ship in or you ship out. That's the truth. So there's nothing about, it's a rare privilege God has given me to transcend the whole of Africa, sub-Saharan. I've walked across the length and breadth of sub-Saharan Africa, and I can empathize with what Doc said. But I can tell you, Africa is sitting on a gold mine. But if Africa does not Africanize Africa, the world will continue to take Africa for granted and nothing will happen. So I'll leave with one vivid example. I like giving practical examples. You wonder why Samsung came in here before I was hired. I was the first chief executive they ever had in the world at all. They normally have Korean MDs. They don't have locals as MDs. So I was the first. Being that first, I can tell you so many things. One, they sent 1440 engineers into Africa before they came in. And when they went around Africa, they found one thing was a problem, power. And because we had power issues, they said, okay, now that power, they started working on built for Africa electronics. Whilst they were building the electronics, they said, we need Africans to drive. That's at the point they started looking for me. Story for another day. Now, if I go back in time and I tell you there isn't anything called an accident, there is a predictable future. AI is not the first, but AI has come now to our eyeballs, so it's either you're ready or you're dead in the water. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for Mr. ID. Thank you so much. The future is predictable. Chisom, I would like you to, please, because there's a lot of young people here, and some of us are wondering how do we connect with this futuristic idea, not even futuristic, the fact that AI is here now. How do we start to connect and start to learn? And, so my question for you is, could you possibly propose some capacity building programs that could potentially provide African creatives, the tools that they need, within this new space that we're in?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Hi, everybody. Standing on all existing protocols. Thank you, Dr. David. That was a very insightful keynote. Even as an engineer, I learned a lot. So how do we start, right? I work majorly as a data engineer, and I understand that artificial intelligence feeds mostly on data. And so how you would want to start is data literacy. Most of us don't know how powerful data is. Most of us don't know how data-driven insights can change the dynamics of everything. So I would say, first of all, giving people like data literacy, letting them understand how important data is. And secondly, other capacity building programs, something like this, people are getting educated with artificial intelligence in this event, so more events like this. And also things around AI workshops, building AI hubs that can help educate people. And also when we're talking about like the creative industry, I feel like the government or people that have the capacity should partner with technical experts, should partner with startups that are heavy on AI to create courses, create certifications that are solely built for people in the creative industry. Other things would be access to funding. As much as we'll talk about AI as something that's very, very shiny, AI is very expensive. If you're using any tool today, ChatGPT is free, but other premium versions of ChatGPT you would have to pay. And this is something most people cannot afford. So capacities that can fund getting these AI tools or access to these AI tools as well. And people do not see the impact of something unless they see people doing it. I also suggest things we do, like in the tech industry, we do things called hackathons, where people build software solutions and just display it for other people to learn from. So that should be a norm in the creative industry, where people in fashion, people in the media, people in music can come to compete so that they can showcase what they've been able to do with AI and also help other people to learn as well. So a few of those things, it's something that we haven't started yet, but it's somewhere we're going somewhere.
Thank you very much, Isom. Okay, Mr. Malik, I want to start with Mr. Malik. I want you to kindly explain to us how artificial intelligence could potentially be incorporated into the fashion world.
Okay, thank you for having me. It's good to be here. I feel privileged to be part of everybody on this panel here and you guys today. So many ways. I'll start with something I worked on early this year with Marvel Studios. I worked on a new Blade with Marvel Studios where we did the art direction and all the costuming for Blade. And I worked with a woman called Ruth Carter, and she's the costume designer for Wakanda. I don't know if you know her. She said something to me that normally they use about 6 illustrators for a film, but with this time, I was the only one they were working with. And why was that? Because of the time it was taken and the photorealism of the things that was being produced. And so that told me that, sorry, can you guys hear me? Okay, so that to me, that was the first, kind of push for me to know that that is the direction to go. You know, because when we started creating all these things at first, it was more of an experiment for me. Okay, it was more of an experiment for me. But I started to train even deeper to know how well I could produce better results. And there's something else I'll speak about before I go into how we could use this. There's a bias when it comes to Africans and African things to produce. How we look, how we're represented is very different from the things that are actually out there. Because the first things I was getting were not what was supposed to be. It was the general perception of Africa. And that came from things like stock imagery and everything that's been in the past documentaries of how Africa has been perceived. So there's a lot of training that went into the softwares, neural networks and everything for it to bring out what we wanted to bring out. But moving forward, it could bridge the gap of time taken to produce, time taken to design, and also you could create multiple variations in shorter time. So for instance, we had a fashion show in Amsterdam recently, and everything that was produced was created by AI or inspired by AI. So I should say again that AI is just a tool. It's not something that you could use to replace your creativity or anything. It's just a tool. So that was a tool that I used amongst many other tools like Photoshop, Illustrator, and everything. But I started with that. So that helped me think. So I had, for instance, a pattern design, original African pattern designs that we created for the fashion show, and we had 1,000 unique designs. And how long did it take for me to create that? 30 minutes. Normally you would have to, go into many different softwares, like back and forth for many months, but I could tell you for free that the moment you train the softwares well enough, you could produce anything, like literally. So I feel about the timing, the creativity, the imagination side of it, it's very, very key that we look into that as well.
I have a quick follow-up question to that. Can AI potentially eliminate the need for fashion designers or creators of fashion?
No, I don't think AI could eliminate anything like that because of the fact that experience does matter. I've met a lot of people that use the same softwares, but they don't. I have a background in many things. I have a background in film design, so I use all of that to create what I was trying to create. So I feel like you will get generic results when you use AI software. It's just what has been thought from or scrubbed from the data set that you will get. It's generic. It's always generic. But how can you get unique results? How can you get specific things? You have to train it. So, and how can you train it? You have to have that knowledge and experience to do it properly. So I don't think it could replace it.
Fantastic. Please, a round of applause. Just as a side note, we have a film director here. We have a trained, veteran actor here. We have a up-and-coming actor here in case they are looking for people for that Marvel film. Thank you very much, Freddie. Mr. Ademefe, Magic Carpet Studios. The name of your company already sounds very unique. The question I'd like to ask you is, what are the possibilities that artificial intelligence could potentially have in the work that you do?
Once again, I started an already existing protocol, and thanks for having me. Thank you so much. You made our job very easy and very hard because you said everything that there was to say. And I'm in the animation space where I'm also into storytelling, but to make an animated movie can go for like 3 to 5 years. And that's if you're Disney, where you have the resources available to you. Now move that to Nigeria. You might be looking like twice. Okay. You might be looking like twice that number, the length of time it would take. So I already have 3 things that is challenging me. I have the problem of capacity. I have the problem of capital, right? And these 2 things are very, very important, right? And then when you also add the third one, the environment, everything that comes with the environment. Now, what we are learning with our stuff, I was going to show a quick clip for about a minute. If that clip is ready, I can move on if it's not. But it would take me about, I need 80 to 100 animators to work with me for 3 years to get that film done. Now, I don't have 80. And I can't get very good 80 in Nigeria. So apart from the fact that you can access $2 million locally, you might not be able to also assess the capacity in terms of trained people. So AI is bridging that gap on many levels, right? Because with AI, you can actually there are portions of your value chain that you can actually collaborate with AI to reduce your cost significantly and bridge the time. So while the foreigners have the choice not to use AI or to debate if AI is going to be a thing or not, I don't think we have that luxury in Africa, right? AI should not be our competitor. AI is actually an enabler. It's here to help us fast track that. So I can use it to bridge my capacity gap, my capital gap as much as possible. But one thing I'm also finding very important is that AI uses your intelligence for you. It doesn't use your intelligence against you. What I mean is that your prompting is actually what is the most important aspect. So AI is just a database, raw database source. What you feed into it is what is going to feed out to you. So prompting is going to be as important as writing. What writing was in the century before, prompting will become for us. So I don't think if you're a young person here, unemployed, bad for you. 35% of Nigerians are largely unemployed. And that is because if we even make it informal, it goes higher. So you can't sit back at home and you're waiting for a job. AI can help you create jobs. Well, if you're a writer, AI is not competing to replace you. AI is an enabler, is your collaborator. So let me help you, for instance. I get a writer, I want to do stuff for kids, and it tells me I'm not specialized in kids market. I do adult stuff. No longer. Just tell AI, okay, I want to do this story for kids. AI and you will make the content for kids. So rather than lose that client, you make AI will help you adjust your thinking to fit that market. So don't see AI as something that will take you out. Now, there are 2 things. AI can take people out if you're not adjusting to the changing times. So that's the reality for people that don't move very fast. AI can push you forward, right, and create jobs. But more importantly, AI can create billionaires, right? And I don't know that we understand how important companies that are shaping AI today are going to define the next decade. It used to be AI in a digital world. Now it's digital in an AI world. It has so shifted that literally everything you want to do, you think the AI first before you start thinking about that stuff, around how you want to take a film from start to finish. So for me, I'm embracing it every day. It's a bit challenging because in my own field, not all the AI tools are there yet, but they're getting better, right? And at the time we're talking about AI 5-10 years ago, people didn't see the speed at which it is coming. But I think the way Africans leapfrog technology adoption, we can actually leapfrog AI adoption and catch up because the world is ahead with how we produce and consume content. And let me tell you, if you're a content creator here, there are many platforms that are coming from Paramount to Hulu to Amazon Prime to Netflix, every one of them, and they're going to be needing content. And when you're in a recession, people need more films, not less films. So the point again is that, and the speed at which we can create more of those content is dependent to the tools that are availability, right? And you can't, as a studio, I want to create 4 stories or 5 stories in a month. I don't have that capacity if I don't have AI. So I have my AI team here. We just feed the AI. AI will give us 5 options. We'll merge AI with AI with AI. We pick line 1, take that one out, and then AI will be so smart. But the truth is that, so when we put it out there like, you guys, your copy is popping. Yeah, it's popping. But the point is that it's both the raw intelligence from AI is fed into what we're doing, and we also feed our own intelligence. So it's sort of like an interesting marriage where man and machine will now become the creators of the future, right? And not a competitor in the future.
Thank you so much. Where we come together, just like man and woman in a marriage, not in competition, but as co-creators with AI. You know, let me be honest with you. Niger has been very hard recently. So as part of my JAPA plans, I started studying prompt engineering. So if you are here, you are saying there's no job. There's so much to learn. There's so much to apply. There are people in the entire creative space that you can be of service to. So please, first of all, let me say thank you to all our panelists. Thank you so much. Please, let's give them one more round of applause. Before we now start asking questions, I'd like to know if there are any questions from the audience members, if you have one specifically for any of the panelists.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. What you said, interesting. Your talk gave me good hope and vibes. My question is, so is there a coordinated front that we have? You see, every good thing would need some order, where people can put in funds directly, energy directly, training. We've seen that prompting engineering is what we should now also develop. So there needs to be some consolidation. And is there something that's been done at a thought leadership level as a nation, as Africans, so that we can manage it and then we can be on the forefront? If it doesn't exist, then we need to make it happen very quickly.
Right, thanks for that question. I wouldn't want to speak for the government, but I was privy to attend the event organized by the Minister of Youth and the Minister of Communication and Digital, right? And they are pushing for a national AI strategy. And what they're basically looking at is to incorporate AI even in our curriculum, to figure out a way on how that can work. Right now, I also run a training school for people who are interested in virtual reality, augmented reality, animation, and all that. And AI is also an interesting part of our conversation. We haven't added it yet, but it's not far off. Because we realize that in teaching people how to use AI, you also equip them to become global citizens, right? And access more opportunities anywhere in the world. So I'm hoping that the federal government will crystallize that strategy. They've said it, and I'm glad they're thinking about it. And we creators have to come alongside them to see that we become participants in helping to actualize the vision, because it's also for us.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That would mark the end of this session. Mr. ID, thank you very much. Chison, thank you. Malik, thank you. Freddie, thank you so much. A warm round of applause for them.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's just, we think this is a good time to acknowledge our panelists and our fireside side chat guests. It's a mid-time, so to say, so that we can still get to the flow of the program. It's not the end of the program, but we just want to do this now so that we can use it to save time. So on behalf of the board of Verdant Zeal, I'd just like to thank everyone that's here. Some of the people that are not here, you still get to listen to them because we did get time to record them. On our behalf, on my behalf, on behalf of my colleagues, we'd like to thank Dr. David Abodure for his presence here. Please come, Doc. Thank you very much for your time and presence here. I have a feeling that this is a conversation that will keep going on, so please try and connect with him. He's only just been able to share only a fraction of what I heard he shared somewhere else that actually made us go for him. So it's only the beginning of the conversation. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank my friend and brother, Dr. Adrian Enag. History goes, he's not leaving yet. We are not closing, but
yet. It's not the end of the program
no,
yet.
No, it's not the end of the program, but we just want to do this recognition now. Thank you very much for your time. Again, I'll encourage Deyemi Okolawon. Deyemi has been a friend of the house for many, many years. And like he said, watch out for his film that is coming sometime soon. He's a star man, he's a star boy. And we are very And we are very, very glad that he's been able to join us here today. Thank you, dear. Next, I'd like to call our brother Mike Afegwa. Thank you very much. You can see how understated he is, but he's packed and packed and packed. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, so I owe Chisom an apology, because first when I met her downstairs, I didn't quite recognize that she was our guest, and she was busy taking selfies. I said, oh, okay, these are one of the university undergraduates who have come to take selfies. So I think it's both something good that I can still think you're an undergraduate. Shows how well you take care of yourself. But obviously, the reason why you're here for students from Babcock will remember that a couple of weeks ago, she actually conducted the Innovention campus, and it was a very good outing. Thank you very much, Chisom. And this is for you. A bigger round of applause for her. All right, so this is for Ferdy. Where's Ferdy? Okay. I'm sure you've listened to Ferdy. Again, he's somebody whose number and contact you might want to have. When you talk about animation in Nigeria, in Africa, in actual fact, a couple of months ago, I was specifically redirected from somewhere in Africa to go and speak with Ferdy because we were thinking about an animation project. This was from South Africa. So Ferdy, thank you for being here today, and thank you for being such an inspiration. Well ahead of many of us before we came, before the start of the program, our famous Auntie Joke Silva actually was already here. So I'd like to thank her especially, although our session is coming up now, but let's just wrap this up now. Thank you very much for your presence here. We are proud of you. We are inspired by you. And we are very confident that the future still belongs to you. You can do better with a round of applause. For my brother Kunle Afolayo, whom you also see here very shortly. If you are not clapping for a job, you should be clapping for Akinukulapo. If you are not clapping for Akinukulapo, you should be clapping for October 1. If you are not clapping for October 1, you should be clapping for Swallow. If you are not clapping for Swallow, you should be clapping for...
Thank you very
One more person that needs to be recognized here today is the MC herself.
I think that is so nice.
I'm sure students from OOU are forgiving you that they will forgive some of us. When we went to OOU, it used to be OSU.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for what you've done here today. All right, so we'll continue with the rest of the proceedings and we'll be rounded off very shortly. Thank you for your time, and we hope you've enjoyed it so far.
Auntie Joke Silva, please. A round of applause for her.
Joke Silva. Joke Silva MFR is a Nigerian actress, director, and entrepreneur. She is a graduate of University of Lagos and the Webber Douglas Academy of Dramatic Arts in London. She was awarded the Best Actress in a Leading Role at the Second African Movie Academy Awards in 2006. In October 2012, the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime appointed her as a Goodwill Ambassador. She founded the Lufodo Group, a media corporation that consists of film production, distribution assets, and the Lufodo Academy of Performing Arts, together with her husband. She is also the pioneer managing director of Malete Film Village in association with the Kwara State University. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joke Silva.
Thank you so much. It's so good to have you this morning. Also joining us for this fire chat this afternoon is no other person. I don't even know how to describe this legend in the house, but I'm sure for the Gen Z and all of us within the space, you will celebrate most of his good work and most of the film he's produced over the years. Come on, join with me this morning. Join me in celebrating Kunle Afolayan as he comes to the podium. A round of applause.
Kunle Afolayan. Kunle Afolayan is an actor, producer, director, and chief executive officer of Golden Effects Pictures. He's widely credited for elevating the quality of Nollywood movies, with his directing brilliance evident in movies such as October 1, which won 16 major African movie awards in 2015, and was the second highest grossing Nigerian film in Nigerian cinemas at the time of its release, as well as The Figurine, Araro Mire, which also won numerous awards. Afolayan represented the Nigerian film industry in 2011 at the Subversive Film Festival. He struck a deal with Netflix in 2021 to make 3 feature films, including a screen adaptation of Sefi Atta's book, Swallow. His 2022 film, Anikulapo, was the most nominated film at the 2023 Africa Magic Viewers' Choice Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kunle Afolayan.
It's so good to have you join us this afternoon. Welcome once again, and welcome, Mr. Joke, for this fireside chat. I know that a lot has been said about AI and the importance of AI and the beauty of AI around the room. But I know that within the sector that you both operate, there will be questions and areas that we need to address. So I'll go with you first, and Joke. So you've been appointed as a Goodwill Ambassador for the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime. How do you think AI and data analysis contributed to the global effort against this, the issues around this?
Okay, it's more like I was. Yes, we should say I was, and they keep telling me that I still am a Goodwill Ambassador for the UN, and you know, because that particular office, I was actually supposed to focus on human trafficking, whilst MI, I think you all know MI focused on illegal migration. So as a Goodwill Ambassador, my job was really to draw attention to the challenges of that issue, which is trafficking in persons. So where AI comes in and all that, I'm not really sure, you know. But honestly, to just look at I know there is a confluence between drugs and trafficking in persons. There's a convergence, there's a confluence. And I guess where AI comes in is the fact that AI is about data, is about collecting data. So it's about collecting data and looking for the anomalies in the data, all right? And being able to, like Dr. rightly said to us, where are the, you know, what kind of activities are going on in particular areas that we can discover from the data and be able to prevent the crime, if possible, and if, you know, if not prevent the crime, where can we channel our resources so that we can deploy, the resources to effective use? Those are the things that I think AI can do in that, very briefly. Yes.
Thank you very much for that. Mr. Folayo, I know that there have been talks around the uniqueness and originality and the authenticity of our African stories. And with the invention of AI, how is this going to play out? Are we going to lose our originality, or where do we stand?
Okay, well, first of all, let me say, Egbon, thank you for inviting me to this. I think this is my second time, attending. And may the Lord continue to strengthen you.
Amen.
Especially after seeing a lot of young people from schools. The future is theirs, even though we are still in that future. We'll play a role, but then they are the real AI, so they really need this. For me, when I didn't get the fact that was the topic until this morning. I just knew, okay, I'm on a panel. Then I looked at it again, and I saw AI and stuff, and I'm like, okay, Ebola Tunjasi. Honestly, for me, I think, because everybody have spoken, and look, I took a lot from what people have said, but then, personally, as a person, it's really not my thing. And I'll just tell you why. Of course, we can't do without. Like, they rightly mentioned, these days you're talking about food. You pick your phone, the next thing Google is giving you options. You didn't ask Google. So it means that we're being spied on. It means that, you go to some hotels and then you tell Shiri, open the curtain. Those kind of things, for me, I'm very wary. Of those kind of things. I belong to this, this age and this. But then some things I think a lot, all right? And I hate it when I can have full control of my narrative. So let's bring it to film. Look, for me, AI has been here since years back. And that is how the Spielberg and the Scorsese, are able to produce, all the Jurassic Park films and, all the, what's it called? This adventure, Indiana Jones series, E.T., extraterrestrial, all of those things. They're all AI. AI started with computer, all right? People would normally write manually, but then since you can, just use your hand and things will come up, I was saying to people that I'm really excited with the fact that, okay, a few years ago we were struggling with distribution, and then Netflix came, streaming platforms came, and then that made it easier, and people will now stay on the phone. And I believe in the future, we're going to be watching in the hair. People will be doing like this. And, and that is where we're going. But then as individual, does that help our mindset? We're talking about, okay, it's not going to take job away from people. Of course it's going to take job away from people, but that's not the point. If you move with time and you upgrade yourself, and all of that, of course you can still key into that thing. But then, what happened to using your brain? What happened to, I can't be talking to machines. I'm not saying it's bad. But then, how do I train my children? How do I engage, how do I say you must learn how to cook? If not, if you don't know how to cook, your husband will not take, things like that. How do you encourage human beings to do stuff that comes with values? Machines cannot give those values. Those are human values. All right? But we need it. Most of my films, I try to run away from using green screen. except if it is so necessary. We shot an Ecolakbo series. It's called Rise of the Spectre, and we were in post-production. And when we were filming, when we did the recce, location recce, we created 5 cities, like 5 different towns in the film. And there's this city that I built with bamboo trees, but we built against the typical forest. So it really didn't depict like riverine or waterlogged area. And you can only justify why you're building houses with bamboo if we could see things that, areas where bamboo grows. So from that point I said, look, what I'm going to do is we're going to do set extension, and then we're going to put waterfall, and then put some bamboo like far out so that people can sing that with the town. That is AI. And it's because I cannot go and create that waterfall, except by go to Erijesha, then go and film, and then come and still put green screen, and then come and still lay it. It's still so for me, what I do is I try to stay as authentic as possible, even if it's going to cost me more, even if it's going to, because I like to see real people do real things. I like to engage people's mind, all right? And I don't like easy way out, to things. Look, life should be easy. I like it, all right? Money should be easy to make. But then, as a person, are you justified when, you do a fashion show, and then, it's all like simulated to a screen, or you just have this light, projecting an image that was showing what happened to the beautiful people, the different shades and sizes and colors and all of that. So I have nothing against it, but I feel that there should be a balance. People should be encouraged to, find a way to balance especially when it even comes to human, what's that word? Well, human element, but then there's a particular word I'm looking for, but then really, I think we should find a way to ensure that as a creative, we stay creative. But when we get stuck, then we can access alternative, That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Fatlayo. A round of applause for him. Personally, I think that maybe the human element will be retained with AI, because that's what makes us authentic.
Yeah.
However, when it comes to the technical support and all that, it's going to evolve, and we can't actually do anything about it. We have to embrace it. So it's still, and I believe that with AI, some of our experts are there, and thank God Doctor is still very much in the house. I feel that it's still much of what is being programmed into this that is going to be generated anyway. So I feel that maybe our local content, our local content can be packaged in such a way that it's programmed, the data is feeding, and then we won't necessarily lose the content. So people like...
Sorry, let me just quickly. Auntie Jackie and I were at one event, and then we were talking about textile industry, and we've realized that now machines are used to make ashoke. Anadire, right?
From China.
And they're from China, okay? Look, we can only tie that success and innovation to commerce. It's strictly we want to make money. Oh, so this is a quick way to make money and make the job, let's do it faster and all of that. But when you look at the other side of it, when you look at, those that started the innovation around the authenticity of the culture, of the crafts, and all of that. Okay, what happens to that? So are we saying, what I'm saying, I'm not condemning it, but I'm saying that there should be a balance where, because you can't be called a creative if all you do, like, okay, you're a writer, a creative writer, and then you have to source the major feed of what you're writing from machine and all of that. It's not a problem, but it means that you're playing down on your brain capacity, and also your intellectual capacity, pretty much. Yeah, but I'm not saying AI is not good, but I'm just saying for me, I'll balance it. I'll only use it if I must use it.
Okay. Thank you so much for your view. On that note, we'll take your comment on board, and I'm sure that the audience will have questions and comments. I'll give room for us to be able to ask one or two questions, and especially our position, and we still have some of our panelists who want to share one or two things. Doctors, and is already, okay, Doctor, I'll give you the mic.
Thank you very much, and thank you for that observation. You're very correct in the respect that before Google came, we knew the roads. There's no way I couldn't get to in Lagos, either by bus or by, and scientists are also saying that human computational power, what we did when we learned 2 times 1 to all the way to 10. I mean, I learned it by Cain. I learned the book of Psalms and Proverbs in my mother tongue, and that has helped my cognition. At times I walk on the road and I recite them. So there's also value, societal value engineering that goes with what we're talking about. But however, the thinking is, my suggestion is that we should now invest in prompt engineering. The ability to know the Yoruba words, for example, to feed into a machine to prompt value. We can also use it as a tool to influence parenting. Like the box of D.O. Fagunwa. I just love reading the man. I just love, where did he come with those ideas from? We need to have more. Well, unfortunately, there are not too many D.O. Fagunwa works, as much as my appetite wants to recite. So we need to feed all of his works and inflection into the machine and help us create more scenarios. And then Yoruba language editors and storyteller can now come and now, because it's a whole societal energy. So, because when you talk about parenting and cultural translation, we need to use those machines to have more of that behavioral temperance influence on society. So I agree with you, but on the flip side, we should invest in more of indigenous thinkers who can help us now amplify that power and have it more in. And when you are not around, sir, I can tell you whether the children went to bed or not. It can tell you how many proverbs they use in their language, sir. It can be used as a monitoring tool for when your eyes turns away, when you have to be at work. Those are my thoughts. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but a few days ago, I was at a friend's, and the friend was saying, Shiri, play Michael Jackson, blah, blah, blah. And I went there, and I said, Shiri, play Kayode Fashola. He didn't answer me. So I understand. I know, I know these things. It's going to get better and all. And, I listened to you, and when you mentioned what that has been able to do with translation and subtitles, that was a major thing. Like a lot of the Netflix films, depending on, the deal you sign with them, if it's an original and, it's releasing globally, typically they would subtitle in like 40-something or 50-something languages, and it gets dubbed in more than 10 languages. And I think they didn't have to go and look for 40-something people from all of those different countries to now come and sit. Machine can easily do that, and it works. But I'm very concerned about values, some values that I feel, look, machines and AI and all of that will kill them. And again, like I said, maybe it's just a personal thing, but being a personality doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Some people, if you like luxury can be interpreted in so many ways. There are hotels that are built, and then you get in, you see shiny floors, and you see all this glassy and, like very nice, cushion and sofas. And then you go to some hotels that are also classified as luxury, and then you see wood, more of carved, antique stuff and things. They both serve, well, they are both classified in the same, space, but then they serve different purpose. I would rather go to the forest or go to the seaside if I want to. At least it saves me money, no shopping. So my children, I'm always happy when they say, oh, holiday. I'll say, let's go to Cap Village or let's go to some place where they don't have to shop. But then, where it's still holiday, but it's not going to come with, so much, except, if we go to Paris, for example, so I think it's an individual, everybody have got what works for them. Technology is good. Some people use 3, 4, 5 phones. I use one, it doesn't even ring out, and I run like 8 companies, all right? But I like to control machines and technology. I don't like for machines and technology to control me, yeah.
All right, thank you very much for your perspective. That's an interesting one. Like I said earlier, if you have questions, you can please note them, and then we could pass the mic around to take a few questions. Auntie Joke, I know you're doing the fantastic work with the Lofudo group and the training section in the institute that you're managing. Mm-hmm. You want to tell us a bit into that, let us into that, and then particularly more of how AI can enhance things, with the new development.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, I'm going to piggyback on what Kule did. And thank you very much, sir, doctor, for inviting me for this AI session, innovation session, our innovation and invention. Now, I'm someone, this area of technology is something that I've shied away from for quite a bit, but I also like a challenge. So when I got the invitation, I said, okay, all right, let's kind of try and focusing on it. And whilst one has been here, one has heard everything that, one has heard quite a lot about the things that one really wanted to talk about. But there are areas of concern that I have. And the areas of concern are these. I had a conversation with someone yesterday, which was the fact that, I think they can hear, which was the fact that there's so much going on around the world now.
Right, okay.
And what's going on around the world is such that you kind of get a sense that there's either going to be an explosion because there's just so much negative energy going on around, and it's global. It's not just Nigeria. Let's take a look at the last elections that we had. It was a carryover from something that had happened in America, in America and in Britain, where AI data had been used, had been collected and targeted at a particular group of people to get a particular kind of outcome. Right? Now, it was a very narrow slice of the population that was targeted. But it was targeted in such a way that narrow slice was then made to overshadow the bigger population. It happened in America. And the same thing was brought to Nigeria. And we had one of the most poisonous elections we have ever had for as long as I have witnessed elections. And I've been witnessing elections since probably from the Abacha, that's when I started being part of elections because it was all military. And so my concern is, and I think you mentioned it as well, which is the fact that we as creatives need to do the kind of storytelling that will bring the nation together. We need to do the kind of storytelling that will put forward our kind of values. Values, African values of welcoming, of community, and the danger that I see with AI is very isolationist. AI doesn't bring together. AI allows the individual to work on his own, outside of community. So a lot of technology is all about being in silos, being on your own. And so the human being is losing the touch of how to be a human being in community. And when they then come into community, what the human being does is become very aggressive. And so what I'm seeing, what I'm concerned about, and one of the things that we're doing in our school, going back to your, the school has been running for several years, but the Performing Arts School is using performing arts to teach soft skills. Using drama to teach soft skills. I use very high-level scripts to work with. I don't work with low-level scripts, so that I get my students to work together, to research together, to find out about different parts of the world, and to bring their own solutions, but together. So when I say my concern about that's one of my concerns, the isolationism of technology, really. Because when we talk about AI, you know, there's AI is in this technology that is also virtual reality, that is also augmented reality, that we will be using in theaters, you know, holograms and things like that, where AI is going to help us with lighting in the theater and things like that. But then I come from a country where a lot of my people don't have work. All right? So how do I deploy technology in such a way that so many of them still lose more of their work? What is the consequence of that? Do I then start creating scripts in the creative industries, all right, where I use AI to create more and more scripts that creates more and more work? Because there will be more, when we talk of distribution, I will have more Netflixes, more Amazons, more bots. Now that's where again another danger is. Nigeria does not own any of these platforms. And Nigeria and Africa must own. Africa owns. We have Mnet. But Nigeria is the most populous, must own. So that because when you control those things, then you have access to the minds of your people. So those are all the concerns that I'm throwing out there.
Can I just...
I was just going to call you, Doctor, to have the mic, because there seems to be a bit of controversy in the House.
Yes. No, it's not a controversy. It's not a controversy. This is social construct, and I agree. Thank you for maintaining that. You see, what you're doing is, as guardians of society, we also have to shape outcomes. In the developed world, people shape what they feel. They shape the narratives.
Yeah.
Look, in China and in India, it doesn't matter who you are. You've got to bend to their language and their culture, no matter the kind of technology you have.
Yeah.
And thank you for what you're saying. It's so deep that in translation, many things are lost by technology. So there's many constructs, for example, in the Yoruba language, that is lost, that society needs. We need to make sure that all of those things move with technology. There are many artifacts of culture that we would never understand in 20 years anymore. My children, for example, will struggle with some proverbs. Last one in my family got my dad to sit down to document proverbs for him. I want to ask him for where the book is, by the way. Because there are many things, there are many thoughts, many meanings that are lost in language.
how do we ensure that those things are carried along? This is why we need the indigenous skills and the good work you're doing. People who understand coding and technology and can be producers of material in the Igbo language. So that when somebody says things like, Ajishebi or Yolari, you can find it in English language. And thank you for the good work you're doing around Oyam from Oyo Town. Their laugh is, when things you say, people don't know the meaning. I tell my wife, I say, see that thing? It means this. See that thing? He say, hey, is that deep? And my dad is your fan, by the way, raving fan. Believes in God because you use Oyo. So there are many of those things that we need to protect. And we can't allow the machine to run and lead us. We can't also leave it to others to tell us our story. Yeah. So creatives must cross-pollinate capability building, in that we must now go to programming or program codes that can code in Yoruba or the Igbo language. And our generation must do something about it. Otherwise, the risk that we're going to lose it. Thank you for what you're saying, Ma. Sir, the other part I would like to say is, we can't leave it. Every drug, every medication has side effects.
Yes, true.
We cannot leave it now and totally run away. My opinion is that we should face it. Yes. Computational power is reducing. Yeah. People can't think logically. When you tell people two hard things, you go and stressed. What we used to talk about as debates, people go and stressed. You mentioned individualism. People are in their phones more. People can't endure long meetings anymore. I used to do long engineering lectures. People are going to upload it on the site. Those things are making us weak, I agree. But what I think is that we now need AI solutions that will bring community, that will bring inclusion, and those things are valid. We need to codify and solve them. That's my counsel. We need to crystallize the problem and solve them. And also there are ethical issues. There are privacy issues. Now the phone is closer to you than your spouse nowadays. The phone knows your habit. I mean, Google was telling me where I went to, including places I walk past that I don't want anybody to know. say last month, hello David, this is your timeline last month. I had to talk. Kilo Kwembe, I said in Yoruba language. For emphasis, when he says sharing, I mean, he said, she and Siri, what concerns you? Leave me, I want to be alone now. So the bigger point is we need to take control, formulate laws, and I think someone said it that in this part of the world, it was Larry Adisa, during the video, and when things happen around here, nobody's here to protect society. So we need to put energy and effort around it in terms of law, in terms of deliberate coding and ensuring that we are not left, because it's already happening and we are being left out. That is the fear. But thank you so much for that. I agree with that line of thought. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doctor. You've also answered a few questions. Just to reiterate the questions, someone said that how can we infuse our belief, culture, values, and all that into AI database? I don't want to lose my language. I want to keep my uniqueness of culture. So how do we infuse that moving forward? So maybe there will be a line of thought for our technical crew. It's like, what do we do moving forward? And if there are applications that are being done or anything you could refer the audience to, you may want to speak to it. Chisholm, do you want to speak to that?
Yes.
Okay. Like I said during my talk, I mentioned that AI thrives heavily on data. And how AI is formed, I'll just give a little illustration. Data is first of all collected from surveys, databases, websites, and that data is now transformed in what we call machine learning, where machines are undergoing supervised learning. So if that data is not available anywhere, AI doesn't have anything to feed on. I'll give an illustration. When I was struggling to speak Igbo language, my mom is a linguistics person. She does Igbo really well. And I had an idea, why don't I build an application that would enable people like me who don't know how to speak Igbo, so that they can try to use that on their cell phones. And this is the kind of data I'm talking about. If an AI model is built upon my application on Play Store, and if there are more applications like that for Yoruba, Efik, Hausa, AI can now feed on that data and get that accurate information. I like what Dr. David mentioned about, and the panelists as well, they talked about preservation of our culture. If we do not show AI what to feed on, it's going to feed on it from somewhere else. And I'll give an illustration. As a data engineer and building models, I've noticed that most of the models that are built by AI are built by white people. They don't know our culture the way we do. They don't know the way we dress. They don't know names of our villages in those very interior parts of the country. So people should do more. As individuals, we can only do less, but the government should try to create a culture for data curation and data preservation, putting in infrastructure where this data can be stored, having a database for culture, for creatives that models can feed on. And so when we have issues with like training models, we don't need to look for data like anywhere. We already have it in our system, and that's the way we can preserve our culture in terms of language and all of that, yeah. So I think someone was...
Thank you very much for that. I just want to hand over the mic again to Mr. Folayo. A round of applause for that. You have a question, sir? A comment. Please, can you come to...
He said question and a comment. Oh, comment, okay.
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Oludare Ogunyombo from Olabisi Onabanjo University. I lecture in communications. And what I can see is that we need to mainstream our suggestions. Because if we don't mainstream, then we will keep floating the ideas. Auntie Joke said something about how can I love to see people. I love to see people around me. That gives me inspiration. How do I do this? And in mainstreaming, I would say we should do a lot in collaborating with institutions that we have. What is our curriculum looking like now? We agree AI is here. It can't go again, at least from what even Dr. Idore spoke about. So what can we do? Of these ideas that we have, how many of our students are getting information, the kind of knowledge that they need to do to start all this coding that we are talking about, in such a way that somebody like Aiju will be able to get something that can help us speak a language. My children can get something that can help them speak the language. So what I'm saying is that we need to start mainstreaming, get to talk to the institutions that are required to get into it. I'm talking about even from the primary school level, up to the secondary, up to the tertiary institutions. And we also have government agencies that are in charge of all of this. We have the Ministry of Technology and Communication. So let's all start thinking of how to tie the knots around this. Or else we will find out that it will keep on going and we will keep on being left out because we are not mainstreaming. That is my suggestion.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful contribution. A round of applause for him, because that's really deep. That should be our takeout from this session, one of the key things we need to note moving forward. I was going to ask you, Mr. Folayo, because given your view and your position at regard on AI and its full works, I was going to ask you, what do you think if you had to have movies that were AI generated compete effectively in award session alongside others that are not AI assisted? What would be your take?
Yeah, but the thing is, we've always had that option. You know, that's why you have animation, that's why you have anime, that's why you have, we've always watched all of those from when we were small. It's an alternative, okay? But you can't, and if you watch films like Matrix and the rest of them, those were heavy on technology and AI, you know, and things, but they will bring human element to it and try to balance it. Now, if you want to watch films that are, these days, things will just pop on your phone, and I saw some architectural design. I didn't know they were actually created with AI. So I sent it to one Egbon, who is my architect, Theo Lawson, and I said, oh, look at this design there so well. And he said, but these are AI design. You know, and he was already like upset. Like, okay, why did I went to school for how many years to study architecture, and then one machine will just sit and then just condemn, or trash all the things that, And again, like the doctor said, I was going to say this. See, if we're really going to jump into this lagoon, then it has to be a complete overhauling because the curriculum has to change. Some students are still applying to school to study English. But then, when you want to do dictation or you want to write, everybody is lazy to even compose things these days. And then the WhatsApp has a new app that will say everything. Okay, so why should someone, apply to a school to study linguistics or to study English when on this thing you can get everything done? So it needs to start from, of course, schools, but again, I'll keep emphasizing the fact that the values, all right, these, like Auntie Joke said, I'm also like, I'm people's pets. I like to have people around me. But kids cannot speak English. I mean, they cannot speak their native language. Is that the fault of AI? It's not the fault of AI. It's the fault of the parents. It's the fault of everybody. All right? So we now have alternative, which is creating app. Let me give you one example that for me, sometimes when I see those kind of things, I feel offended. Woman King, the film. Look, this is not me putting down anybody's work. But this film, the story is centered around Yoruba Kingdom and the Idahomi Kingdom. And maybe they use AI to even build the entire thing because he was off. The Oyo Kingdom people dress in Fulani outfits. That's one. The accent, and this is very common with American film. Every African talk the same way. So you say, that is why I want to make sure that. So, and you're representing Yoruba. And look, we have John Boyega in the film. We have Jimmy Odukoya in the film. We have Angelique Kidjo in the film. Angelique Kidjo is Benin, Nigerian, so she's even very Daomi. But everybody spoke this accent that is very offensive to me as a Yoruba person. I was really upset and I was offended. If you're going to do your research, and these are the people we try to emulate. These are the Oyibo that will believe they know everything. This is Hollywood that they have the budget and everything to create something that is authentic, and genuine, but yet they will bring up people. And then they force the likes of John Boyega to speak the way they want them to speak. Boyega's accent was not even Nigerian, and the rest of them. So these are some of the dangers that I see. And that is why I think the human element and the human factor should also be worked on. We should embrace that. The way we're all embracing AI now, if we channel half of that energy on ensuring that the human element to life in schools, this thing makes things easy. They make it faster. They make you generate more money. But is that all that is tied to life? No. So I'll still say there has to be a balance in it.
So invariably they won't compete likes to likes.
Well.
Auntie Joke, a quick one. So do you see hope for virtual theater coming up soon in view of AI? Or is it something you're looking forward to or you started thinking about already?
Yes, I have a very good friend in Aboyeji who is always, milling around the theater and thinking up of all the kind of things that we can do in the theater with virtual reality and, computer-generated stuff and augmented reality and all those headsets. Yeah, I think there's even a particular script that we're working on for the Glevel Memorial Theatre, which will have to do with holograms and all that. But unfortunately for you people, you are so expensive. Even the one without augmented reality is expensive before you now come and do all this other thing. But as a last word, as a finishing, Abi, that's what you're asking me for. My last words are these, is that I honestly do not think that augmented reality is going to take away all our work. I think there's a place where it's actually going to create a lot of work. Okay? But I think what is important is that we as people who are going to work with those machines, who are going to impute things into the machines, our values need to be right for the country. Our values need to be about building a country that can achieve even beyond our wildest dreams. It should be about not destroying what we have, but celebrating who we are. When we go in to AI with those kind of values, with removing things about may Nigeria never happened to you, and saying that our country is a curse, but looking at all those things that we can celebrate about Nigeria. All over the world, people have built their own nation. We in Nigeria can build Nigeria and make Nigeria an envy of the entire world. It takes work, it takes effort, it takes grit, but we have AI to help us. And because it takes effort, it takes grit, it will last. It is easy to destroy. It is hard to build. But we can, if we have that mindset, that we can do it and this country is worth it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Auntie Joke, for that wonderful, round-up session. I know we have Obi Asika on Zoom. I want to quickly take your view before Mr. Aflaya give us his final session. Mr. Falayo, can we have a final word on this? I know that your position is clear. Let's put this thing in place and then we'll get on. But can we have your final word?
No, really. I mean, there's no way I can't do without AI. All right, we're doing production, and like I said, you do different genre of film, and some genre comes with bigger responsibility. For example, if you've seen Ijogbo, the mining site where we shot was actually a real mining site. It could have been created, I could have given it to animators and all of that, but I'm sure it would have cost me more, right? But this mining site was like 2 hours away from where we were filming, and I had access to the people who were in charge, and we drove there, and it was more, we could feel it. I went down, to the pits where, and I saw those guys doing the work, and it gave me a lot of other ideas, and I'm like, I can shoot. This is actually a real shanty town. I can actually do a series. So that is different from, we've conceptualized everything, we've done a storyboard, then we build the studio, and then in that studio, we just put a few people and said, try to act like you are mining, and we'll make it happen. But then all of those things that I got, the inspiration, the fact that I was able to relate with those people, the fact that we did a documentary even around, the people that live in that community, all of that, of course, wouldn't have been possible if it was restricted to doing green screen and all. So what I would say is, look, again, we're stuck with AI. We can't, we're going to use it, but balance how you use it. Still embrace, go out and eat with people and not stay on the phone. Still don't tell curtain to open by itself. As a matter of fact, I recently bought new turntables, and I sent someone out to Ojogbo Ibadan and I said, go and help me buy all old records. Go and look for people who have closed down their shops where they sell LPs and all. So at home, I have more than 2,000 LPs of, and once in a while, weekend, I sit there. The only thing is, it's draining that you have to stand up every...
But that's what AI is bringing to the table.
Yeah, but then it helps your blood to flow. That you're not stuck in one table, just pressing this thing. You get up, you move. It's like there's a huge difference between using treadmill and taking a walk. Huge difference between running on treadmill and walking, in the open space or garden or park. And they're two different things. So you can choose the one that works for you, but balance it, yeah?
All right. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for being a part of this session. We do appreciate you, and thank you for your contribution and your views as well. I'm sure the technical team and the technology team had also taken your feedback on board. I know Chisholm is looking at all the comments and like, okay, we'll see how we keep developing and then make this better, and then a lot of the questions will be answered in time. Like I keep saying, this is something that is progressive. Yeah. All AI-related questions cannot be answered at once, but once we keep having this kind of session, it keeps opening us and exposing us to opportunities, to gaps, and the likes of it. But hey, we all just have to embrace it, because it's here for efficiency, and we need to move forward with it. Thank you very much once again for your time. Thank you.
It all begins with a dream, sometimes seemingly too little to perceive, but thrives with a will stronger than Achilles. As creatives, our minds are the alternate reality, the city where ideas flow, twist and turn till they become reality. You see, we've been armed with intellect, talent. Doubt is not palatable on our taste palette. So when someone asks you, why do you create? Your answer should be, why do you breathe? Why do you sing, dance? Isn't it because life itself is a rhythm? And we are the camera that captures its beauty. You see, as creatives, we have learned to dream. Because even with our eyes closed, we've created a different world entirely. It's not just talent, but it's the fire that burns in our bellies, the smoke in our lungs that forces us to speak. We are special species with something within. Our motto is RMD, because real men, they dream. We have instruments in our skin, our ancestry, our minds. Not to create would be a sin, because that is what we are created to do, to be. You see, AI or not, we would always win, because we do not have the capability to relent. We know how to use the simplest tools to give life meaning. Piece by piece, we piece together life's puzzling pieces. So our passion is not luxury. Our passion is not luxury, but it is service to God, to self, and to community. Thank you.
It's been a day, it's been an eventful one. On behalf of the board, and the management of Verdant Zeal Marketing Communications Group, we would like to express our profound gratitude to you all for the honor done to us with your presence here today, for helping and having to grace the 11th edition of the annual Verdant Zeal Innovention series. This year we've had to look and discuss around the future of Africa's creative industries in the era of artificial intelligence. Our gathering has been one that has been both enlightening and inspiring. And I would like to specially thank our keynote speaker and our distinguished discussants for making this come true. In a world where technology is advancing at an unprecedented pace, we find ourselves at a critical juncture where development of African industries is one that calls for importance. I am more than convinced that the insights and ideas shared here today have illuminated the way forward. A lot has been said here today about the incredible potential that AI holds for advancing creativity, opening us to the opportunities that are bound to all stakeholders in our creative industry. Our discussions have emphasized the importance of embracing AI as a tool for amplifying our creative expressions, while also preserving the our unique cultural heritage as vibrant Africans. I extend our gratitude today to all visionaries who have spoken here today, providing us with valuable perspective on how to harness the power of AI to unlock the full potential of Africa's cultural industries. Your expertise and passion are highly commendable. This vote of thanks would definitely not be complete if I fail to appreciate the guests and audience whose active participation and provoking questions has further enriched the discussions we had here this afternoon. It is your engagement that has really made the event a huge success. In closing and in wrapping this year's edition of the Innovention series up, I wish to express our profound thanks to our sponsors. Your support in bringing today's event to light. I'd like to appreciate our colleagues, Chidima and her team, our volunteers, and the Verdant Zeal Group. The effort has yielded an applaudable result. And to everyone here seated today, both those currently sitting and those that have left, it is important to let us continue to collaborate and work together the future where Africa industries thrive in harmony with the age of artificial intelligence. Thank you once again to our valuable contributors. We look forward to the 12th Innovention series. Thank you.